Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. I'm waiting for all of you to pop on. This is so exciting to be together. So awesome. All right. So welcome. How's everyone doing today? Tell me in the chat, how are things? So good to see you. It's such a lovely day here. So as you come on, I'm just waiting. I feel like, yeah, so let's just see how everyone is coming on here. All right. So welcome to this webinar. Today's webinar is going to be so helpful to you. I'm so glad you're here. I want to encourage you to turn off all your devices, make sure that you don't have distractions. I want this to be interactive, so I would like you to use the Q&A box. That's going to help you. That way I can see that, but it won't be distracting on the chat. And so hopefully everyone else that is coming can come easily. I know there was a few troubles, so thank you for bearing with all the struggles of that. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about weight loss maintenance, and I'm going to share with my screen with you. So here we go. There we go. So I'm going to share the 3 keys to weight loss maintenance. So in the Q&A, is there a mute button? There should be, for you or for me? I'm going to stop my share. So the thing with a webinar is that you're just doing your thing. And I think the only way that you can be heard is if you raise your hand and I bring you on. So I think you're okay. All right, let's get started or continue. Okay, so I want to hear from you. What are your biggest struggles with weight loss? And so let's just look, what are the things that you've done in the past? So what have you done for results in the past? What are the things that you have done that have really given you trouble? And so what I think for a lot of people is they turn to experts and try to follow the instructions. Oh, I think this is kind of out of order. Yeah, it is. Okay, so there we go. Why do you struggle with weight coming back on? This picture is just classic, right? Like where does that feel like in your body of like, why does the weight still keep coming back? And I want you to just share it in the Q&A. Why do you feel like weight loss is one of those things where no, it doesn't matter how smart you are, doesn't matter how clever you are, doesn't matter how many things in life that you've been really good at, weight loss just keeps coming back as being more and more challenging. So I want you to ask yourself those questions and look at what's going on for you. So when you think about that, it's like, what do you want in your life? And I want you to contribute to this. So you want to feel comfortable in your body. You want to feel at ease in your body. You want to eat food without stressing out or second guessing yourself. You want to enjoy your life. You also want to have conversations with others and not second guess yourself. So how often does it happen for you where you're like, oh, I should have said this. I should have said that. Why did I say that? That was so dumb. You don't want to live that way anymore. What about if you want to go to a party and you want to focus on the people and not the food? You really want to have that experience where you're enjoying the people and you're feeling really happy about that. You also want to participate in life how you want to, and you don't want to feel so limited. So in the Q&A, I'd love you to share what are the things that you want. I have some other, oh, here we go. I have some other ones as well. So I've got, you want to have coping skills. You want to be able to talk to people and to resolve problems without having to turn to food or numbing out or people pleasing. You want to say no without feeling guilty. You want to be proud of yourself. You want to feel, you don't want to feel resentful or bitter about anything. You don't want to have to reward yourself with food. You want to go on errands and not have to stop in at the Dairy Queen and buy the treat. You want to plan ahead and have food for you that's going to work for you. You want to go to the grocery store and not get sucked into buying the cheesecake or buying just those treats for yourself. You don't want to be afraid of the scale, right? You don't want to have shopping be a really difficult and hard thing. So there's lots of things that you want. And I have a question for you. What have you been doing to get those results? Okay. So are you usually going to experts to tell you what to do? And I often say, like, we can wallpaper our whole entire house, the whole neighborhood, with all the pages of all the diet books out there, right? We don't have a knowledge problem. We have a thinking problem. And actually, some people, we do have a knowledge problem because there's a lot of misinformation out there about what to eat and when to eat. I was talking with my cousin in the summer, and she was telling me about this podcast, and this woman made weight loss so complicated. But my cousin thought, well, if I'm smart, I can figure it out, then maybe I can figure this out. Because she's like, oh, you have to do this, and then you have to eat this at this time of day, and then you don't eat this before this time. It was very complicated, right? And it made things very overwhelming. And that is not going to help you to feel empowered. So, yeah, so this takes me to this one. So what have you done to try to get weight loss results? What have been some of your strategies? And I have these different pictures here of different breakfast things, because I'm sure you've gone to Pinterest and you've looked at all of their different recipes and what works for them. And so you go to these experts and you go to Pinterest and you say, I got to eat what this person eats and I got to do what this person does. Pardon me. Another thing that you do is you speak really harshly to yourself. You're like, oh, right, we're going to do this now. We're going to go to the grocery store and we're going to print off this list and we're going to just eat these things and we're not going to stray from it. Okay. How many of you have done that? And how discouraging is that? Because when the mother-in-law calls and says she can't babysit, or when the grandkids don't come, or when your trip gets canceled, it doesn't matter how much food you have in your fridge or how pretty everything looks or how much prep you took. Because chances are when that happens, you're going to go back to those old habits of getting the ice cream and start eating that, or getting in the car and going to Dairy Queen and getting that blizzard, or treating yourself, or whatever that is. Okay. So that is the problem. And then the other thing that happens is we've got so you compare yourself to others, and you compare yourself not only to others, but you compare yourself to your past self. So your past self 20 years ago, who didn't have the problems with weight loss, or who could just go for a run, or who could do these different things, you compare yourself to that version of yourself. Or what about you use a lot of willpower and you're like, I'm just going to power through this thing, right? So when you're doing that, how does that feel? And how does that make sense that you still really struggle with the things that you're struggling with? Okay. So when you turn to experts, what happens is you are, you're speaking to yourself harshly. And then, but the problem with that is then it doesn't work because you don't learn weight loss science. You don't know why you're eating what you're eating, and you operate from fear and disempowerment. And so when you are in that place, what happens is you aren't able to really be operating from a higher self. And then the other problem with that is it's not sustainable. So this weight loss is not something you're going to be able to do for the rest of your life, because think about it. If you're constantly speaking to yourself harshly and you're comparing yourself to other people and you're trying what other people are doing and you're using all this willpower and you're following experts, this is not a sustainable way of living. And it also leaves a really bad taste in your mouth of weight loss. This is a really terrible experience. And the other thing that happens is you develop a relationship of fear and frustration with yourself. Okay. So as I'm talking about this process, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from your experience of why you think that this has been a problem. Like, why do you think, and this is really helpful to come to this webinar and to really start opening your brain to this. And I want to help you with this. It is my desire to change your relationship, because my name, of course, sorry, I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Dara Thomason, and I am the weight loss coach for quilters. I am the weight loss coach for women who are finally done with beating themselves up and not being kind and always having weight loss as a struggle. And so my process is called Love Yourself Thin. My process is teaching you how to stop the negativity, stop that lack of self-confidence, and start building you up from where you're at. And that is my process. And so today's webinar, I'm the free training, I'm going to talk about 3 different things of what you can do to help you change that. But before I go into my 3 solutions, I want to hear from you of why do you think that, even though, because you are very capable. And when I say capable, a lot of you might be thinking, oh, well, no, I'm not that good at this or not good at that. But like, why, if you can finish a quilt, or if you can get on a Zoom call, or if you can, do pay bills, which is just a series of skills, why do you think you haven't been able to lose the weight? So in the Q&A, I'd like to hear your reasoning. Okay. So some of you are saying you haven't been able to lose the weight because it feels really overwhelming. Some of you are saying that you don't feel like you know enough about weight loss and that you just keep failing. So what's the point? Okay. Another one is that weight loss feels really unempowering because it's very complicated and you haven't had success. Another one is you've tried to follow a system, and even though you've tried your best, it still isn't good enough because you keep putting the weight back on. Okay. What are some other feedback? What are some other reasons? It's overwhelming and it seems like it's temporary. So if you believe it's overwhelming and it seems like it's temporary, how do you feel? You would feel unempowered. And this is such a good note. When you feel overwhelmed, that leads to inaction. You will, it's like you keep spinning your tires, right? And until, like, when you think about when you're spinning your tires, like in mud or in ice, the more you spin, the hotter the wheel gets, the hotter that happens, and then the least amount of traction. So the best way to get out of something like that, like spinning your tires, is to either put some traction there. So getting like like a shingle, like we use like shingles on our like spare shingles, so that gives you some grit, or even like a couple of breaks so that you can kind of overcome that and to slow it down and to see how it goes. Okay. So why do you think weight loss has been such a problem for so many women and men? I'm just specifically like, why has that been something that's such a struggle? What do you think? So sugar is an addictive substance. We have a lot of urges. We have a lot of desires for things. We don't know how to feel our feelings. We don't know how to just sit with our feelings. So we tend to try to numb away from our feelings. What are some other reasons? So as I ask these questions, I want you to take this opportunity to really get clear on why you struggle with weight and why it's been such a problem. Okay? Because the truth of the matter is, when I talk about weight loss maintenance, a lot of people are thinking, well, heavens, I can't lose the weight. Or when you do lose the weight, you lose it in a very unempowering way. Can you imagine if we were quilting and you come over to my house and I've got my beautiful long arm, and can you imagine if I have to tell you every minute of every day what to, every second, like, oh, do this, move to the left, move to the right. Like if I was constantly on your case of saying like, do this, do that, how would that feel? It would feel really disempowering. It would not be fun. Or if I said, okay, this is a basic stitch. I'm going to teach you a basic stitch. We're going to practice it. We're going to practice it on paper. We're going to trace it in sand. I'm going to get out some whipping cream and we're going to play with that. Like we're just going to have a lot of fun. And I'm going to teach you how to do this one design and we're going to do it over and it's going to be super fun. And it's going to be so different. And we don't even have to quilt anything that's going to last. We're just going to give this quilt sandwich away to the SPCA so it doesn't have to look any sort of way. And we're just going to play with it. And we're just going to have fun. How would that experience of free motion quilting be compared to do this thing, do this, go that, do that? It feels terrible, right? Just terrible. So I want you to just believe that you can change your relationship with your body and with yourself in a way that's going to be really helpful. So I did have a comment here. We were told to think we should look like someone else. Totally. And so if we never felt like we could be just ourselves and we are constantly trying to be someone else, that feels really disempowering too. So again, it's going back to not feeling empowered. Okay. So this is what I want to share with you. And when at the beginning of the webinar, how I talked about, what have you been doing to get the weight loss results? You're using a lot of deprivation, you're using a lot of willpower, you're using a lot of negative self-talk. You're trying to follow what experts are telling you, but those experts don't even know your specific body. They don't know your your mental health. They don't know your physical health level. They don't know what it was like growing up in the home that you grew up in. They don't have any idea of any of that. And now they're telling you to eat this thing and do this thing at this time. And so now all they're doing is it's a practice of your self-control versus your emotional well-being, right? Because the thing is, if you don't get, my mom, we were pulling weeds in her yard. And there was some weeds that were literally like 1.5 feet long. They were crazy. And if you don't get to the root of the problem, you can mow the lawn, you can do some stuff to it. But if you don't actually pull out that weed or get it right at the root, that you're still going to have the problems over and over. So what I want to suggest to you is that you're not broken. You're not beyond repair. But what needs to happen is we need to look at why you keep turning to the food. Why do you keep comparing yourself to others? Why are you thinking you should be different? And when you can do that, you can have transformation. All right. So I will be talking about my Love Yourself Thin program in just a little bit, because what starts happening when you get to the root of the problem, you get to start looking at your why, and you no longer have to feel afraid or disempowered in your life. So when you've lost a bunch of weight and the weight starts coming back on, you're not as afraid anymore. You can say, oh, you know what? My body, what's going on, body? Why are we doing this? Why are we turning to the chocolate? Or why do we? Because there's only two reasons we're overweight. One is because we over hunger, it's called. So it's just you're eating more often than your body requires. So when you do that, the insulin spikes and the body gets into action, and we got to get going, right? So that is just simply you just eating more often than your body needs. So that in frequency and in amounts. So you're just putting more fuel in your body than your body can handle. And so now that fuel becomes extra fat. It can become storage. Okay. So if you think about a car and you're driving down the road and you get gas at one gas station and you only drive 5 minutes later and you try to fill up your car again, well, your car hasn't used up all the fuel that you just gave it. And so now we have to get these jerry cans and we have to store that extra fat. So under your armpits or your belly or your bum or your hips or whatever is now storing all that extra fat. And the second reason we're overweight is over desire. So when you go you're driving in your car and you see the billboard that has this nice looking burger and fries and milkshake, ooh, that sounds great. Because it is yummy. It totally is. But when you eat that kind of food, you're putting way more storage in your body, and you're also creating more of a desire and the stronger reinforcing this desire to have more and more of that kind of food. And so you're giving you're training yourself to have all this strong desire for food and not to have desire for like a healthy body that feels really good. Okay. So I want you to, and I know a lot of the ladies that are on this call right now are in my Love Yourself Thin program. And we've been working on taking what you learn in there and applying it. It's very easy to consume. It's very easy for you to come to a call or to watch one of my webinars or listen to my podcast. It's very inspiring. I agree. I'm very inspiring. What I'm saying, it feels so good and it feels like so hopeful. But putting it into action is the next step. And that's that level of commitment. But if your fuel is feeling of empowered, that's going to be so much more helpful. Okay. So what you need for the 3 keys, these are the 3 keys to weight loss maintenance. I told you I would help you with that. The first key is knowing that your personal reality, so the life that you have right now, everything that you've created in your life is because of your thoughts. So Joe Dispenza says your personality is your personal reality. So if your personal reality is every time you go to the grocery store, you buy yourself a small tub of ice cream and eat it on the way home, then that becomes like you are responsible for like what your body looks like now is because of everything that you've done. So it's eating that ice cream. It's the grabbing the chocolate. It's having, chocolate as a backup. So you created that for yourself. So you created that reality. All right. Now, so in saying that, I want you to write down all the ways that you use food in your life. So if you are using food to feel better, or to numb out, or to try to get a different feeling when you're eating food, then that is on you. And I'm here to tell you that if you change that, then you don't have to worry about weight loss. You don't have to worry about the weight coming back on. Isn't that a great key? So when you can be honest with yourself about how you're using food, you don't have to worry about the weight coming back on. Second key, the process of losing weight needs to be something that you're willing to do forever. So the process has to be doable, which also ties in creating systems that are manageable and realistic. So how you lose the weight is going to help you keep the weight off. Because if you're losing the weight in a very annoying way, then it feels very fearful. It feels very negative. It feels very unempowering. So you're not going to keep doing it. Can you imagine if to get to school, or not to get to school, but to get to do dishes, you have to go and walk a really far away, and then you have to boil the water, and then you have to do those dishes. Is that going to be something you're going to want to do all the time? No. If you have to walk on, really cold, icy roads to get somewhere, are you going to want to be able to do that all the time? No. So you need to make it more sustainable and something that you're going to do. So for when I decided to lose weight, for the last time, I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do these apps that I'm trying to figure out how much I'm eating, and that I have to measure things, and that I only can eat this little few things, and I have to follow this list. That's really unempowering. And I feel actually scared all the time. So I decided that I was going to lose weight, and I didn't have to have a timeline. I didn't say, okay, I have to lose a certain amount every single week or else I'm a loser. But I decided I'm going to just use curiosity and love, and I'm going to figure out the basics of hormones, because that's what weight loss is all based on. And I'm just going to figure this out. And I'm not going to beat myself up anymore. And that made all the difference for me. And that's what I teach in my program. So the second key is it needs to be doable and sustainable. It needs to be something you're going to do for the rest of your life. So if you're all gung-ho on measuring your food and playing with apps on your phone and doing those kinds of things, then that's going to be something you do for the next 50 years, then go for it. But if that's not, then you need to lose the weight in that way, or else it's not going to work. Okay. And the third step third key for weight loss maintenance is that you've got to start valuing yourself, because the relationship you have with yourself is going to impact how you eat food and how you approach food and how you approach your body. So one of the problems that I see with women is that they are living their lives for other people and aren't even familiar with who they are. They feel guilty for taking time for themselves. So when you can start being compassionate and loving and kind to yourself, you lose weight as a side effect of that. So Love Yourself Thin is the name of my program and the name of my podcast and my process, because when you start loving yourself, and I'm saying unconditionally loving yourself, where that means you accept yourself exactly how you are, when you embody that and you care about yourself, it's like my laptop, right? My laptop allows me to have a business where I can serve women all over the world. It's amazing. So I'm not going to just leave this laptop sitting around on the ground, being open. I'm not going to have drinks and food around there. I'm going to take really good care of the laptop. I'm going to make sure that the cord is by it and that I have a nice soft cover. I'm going to take really good care of my laptop because I value it. So when you value yourself, you're going to start taking care of yourself. And you know what? Eating a whole thing of Oreos doesn't actually feel good. Going to bed late and feeling so groggy in the morning doesn't actually feel good. Being mean to yourself and talking mean to yourself doesn't feel good. And so when you value yourself and you feel good about yourself, guess what's going to happen? It's going to feel so much better. And so you're going to just start losing weight when you start valuing yourself. I promise you. And so that means you put on a little bit of makeup in the morning. Maybe you put on some pants that actually feel good. Maybe wear a bra that fits you properly. Maybe not just put on the same hoodie and stretch pants every single day. Maybe, doing your hair a little bit. Okay. So those are the 3 keys. So that is our webinar for today. And now I'm going to share with you. Okay. So ask me any questions. So the Q&A, put it in there. No one can read. No, the only person that can see your question is me. So you don't have to feel bad or embarrassed or anything. Okay. I kind of do that on purpose. And I don't have the chat on because I want you to stay focused. All right. So what questions do you have of me with those 3 keys? All right. So now that I've done that, now please feel free to ask me any question. I can see my screen from where I'm standing. In fact, I will see my screen even better. Look at me. I brought my glasses. I wore these glasses the other day and my son was like, Mom, you look a little bit like a nerd when you wear those glasses. I was like, that's okay. All right, that's going to help me. So that's for our training for today. But now I'm going to show you how you can lose the weight and keep it off for good. And I have a really, really special offer, 2 of them, in fact, and I'm really, really excited for you that you're going to be able to take advantage of it. So my membership is called Love Yourself Thin, and it is $2,000. And how it works is you pay me once, just like you would buy a sewing machine. You have one big investment, you buy that sewing machine, and then it gives you a lifetime of joy. Okay. And of course you have to maintain it. You have to take care of it. And that I do have, which is exciting because I have special offers that help you maintain and take care of it better and better. All right. So in my Love Yourself Thin program, so it's $2,000, you learn the 5 vital steps. So I call these like vital steps or pillars. And what these pillars will do is they will help you to really become empowered around your body and about your relationship with food and all of that. So the first one is you learn weight loss science. It's actually very simple. And so even in my program, I encourage you to use these to come up, to be able to explain weight loss in your own words. And what happens is you get video modules. So as soon as you join, you get the videos and you can watch them over and over and over. Okay. And so, and then you got the worksheets that help you with that. So then the second part of the second pillar is you create and troubleshoot your own eating plan. So just like how we're all unique and different, and we're all super smart and amazing in lots of different ways, you can be trusted with food. And I teach you how to create that eating plan and how to feel really empowered around it. The third thing that happens is you learn that our brain and body are connected. So our emotions come from our thoughts, not from ice cream. Our emotions don't come from chocolate. Our emotions don't come from cotton candy. Our emotions don't come from rutabagas or from pizza, right? Our emotions come from our thoughts. And the problem we have is we've been eating food to try to numb our emotions, but really our emotions have just been coming from our thoughts anyway. But 95% of our thoughts are subconscious. And so if we don't know how to get a hold of our thoughts and how to like really slow everything down, we're now kind of a prisoner to food to get that little bit of dopamine hit, right? And just like it's an addictive substance, we need more and more of it to get more and more of the dopamine hit. And it's like a false pleasure. So it's not even like a real thing. And so we just give ourselves this really bad vicious cycle. And I help you break that with this brain body connection. Okay. The fourth thing that happens is we start taking responsibility for ourselves. We don't blame people anymore, and we don't shame ourselves anymore. We literally take responsibility for whatever's happening. And this is where we get all our power back. The fifth thing that happens is that we start to build self-confidence. And so when we build self-confidence, we then are able to say no when we want to say no, and we don't feel guilty. We're able to do things that we never thought we could do. We start living the life that we really want, and we feel empowered, and we feel like we can make a difference. Okay. So these are the 5 pillars, and I have my 12 modules and worksheets that go coordinate with that. And so when that happens, then you can, and you have those on demand. Okay. So as soon as you join, you pay the $2,000, you get 5 mindset videos. They're short and sweet to the point. They're there. And also in those videos, I have a money back guarantee. You lose 20 pounds in 90 days, money back guarantee. And you actually signed a contract, and it shows how you can be so empowered. All right. We are getting our septic tank changed. So I really hope the guy just knows what to do, but he's there. So if I have to run, I will put it on pause, but I think we're going to be okay. All right. So I'm always thinking about how do I help you have the most success with this plan? Because the truth is we all buy stuff. We all get really excited. Like, how many block of the months have we been on, right? Oh, can you just hold just 1 minute? I am so sorry. I just need to. All right, ladies, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Oh, that was interesting. Okay, so I'm always thinking about how do I support you with what learning this, because we buy things and we get super excited, just like our block of the month, and then they sit there and they sit there. And then we end up buying more block of the months because we think, no, it's the block of the month. If it's more beautiful, then I'll do it. I'll be more inspired. And the problem is like love yourself thin, like it's amazing. It will make all the difference. But if you don't use it, it won't help you. It'll just be sitting there. Okay. And you don't get to have the joy. You don't get to have the change in your life that you want. So there's the ways that I've helped you to do that. And the first one is we have 3 live coaching calls a week. They're amazing. Today, actually, I had a lady join. I met her at a quilt show, and I said, you know what? We didn't have time to have a consult, like a one-on-one. I said, why don't you just come to the coaching call? Why don't you just come and just see what it's all about? And she messaged me, we spoke right after, and she said, that was unbelievable. That was amazing. That was so transformational. She's like, I'm in. And because she knows like the power of being in that with those other women. And she saw, first of all, that she's not alone, that she has struggles just like everyone else, and that there is a solution. When you are in your brain and when you can solve your problems and you don't have to numb out, you get all the power back. It's like I'm literally giving you your power back. It's so amazing. It's so empowering. So we have 3 of these. So you can get coached yourself. And today, the girl that got coached, it was so challenging for her. But afterwards, she messaged me and she was like, that was everything I needed. Thank you so much. So you can get coached yourself. You can watch other people getting coached, and that you can see, like I said, like you're not broken. You're just like everyone else, but you just don't have tools to help you to be more empowered. Okay. Then another thing that's really, really helpful is this private Facebook group. So in the private Facebook group, you go in there and you see, oh, you know what? I need help with this. And I want someone to help me with this thing and that thing. And then they help you. And it feels so empowering and it feels so enlightening. And so you can encourage each other, you can get support, you can say, hey, I want to try this thing, who's had success with it? And they can work it out. I have ladies that will contact each other and say, hey, I'm struggling with this thing. And I see that you've lost 80 pounds. What has made the difference for you? And they connect. It's so awesome. And you're in this really, really like supportive, awesome group. Okay. We also have this other, because I think about like group coaching, it kind of can feel very intimidating. And so to ask questions or to have courage. So it's like the lady this morning, she's like, I have never been this vulnerable like ever. And she's in this like really great group. So she could feel very safe. And we actually even have like a kindness agreement to like when you join, because it's so important to have that environment. But there are times when you don't feel like you can ask, and that's totally fine. And so you ask any question anonymously, and now I'll answer it myself, or my coaches go in and answer it. And then there's a bank of answers for you. So it's a wonderful support. And then you get your own personalized feedback. So you could go to ask a coach 3 or 4 times a day, and I will help you with that. It's so fun. And then, of course, this is where you get I just wanted to clarify. So when you get the 12 modules and the worksheets, you get your own access to these modules. Okay. And you can track your weight. You can track all sorts of things. It's super fun. Okay. Now, remember, I have the 20 pounds in 90-day guarantee. Now, this is a very special bonus. So exciting, right to your doorstep. And we're starting October 3rd. I had to switch the dates, and it's going to be a little tight for getting it to you, but I'm pretty sure, been talking to the printer guy, and if not, we'll start digitally because I can send you a digital copy, but it will come to you. Don't you worry. And it is my 90-day workbook. It literally took me like 9 months to make. It's been like a huge process for me. But basically, I'm taking the 5 pillars of permanent weight loss. So what I shared at the beginning, and I have made 30-day cycles. So I've taken these things and I broke them down into little tiny steps. And in those little tiny steps, then you're doing that 30-day cycle, and then you're going to do it again. So the next 30 days, we're going to go a little bit higher learning, and then we're going to do it again. So October, and then November and December. We are going to end 2022 with a bang. Like, it is going to be amazing, because I am like holding your hand and helping you learn this so you can do this on your own. It's so wonderful. And so that is my special bonus, and I am so excited for you to be a part of that. Now, the other really, really exciting bonus that I am so thrilled about is it's in 2 weeks today. Like 2 weeks today. I can't believe it. I'm really looking forward to going. I actually haven't even booked my flight yet. I'm doing that today. But so this retreat, and I have decided, like, I want you there, and I will pay for your accommodations. And so it's $2,500. You get to go to Primitive Gatherings, which is in Wisconsin, and it's going to be so beautiful, autumn, beautiful weather. Not only are you going to learn my weight loss maintenance that I'm going to be sharing with you, but you are going to be with me and other incredible women who I have women there who have lost 50 pounds, 80 pounds, 70 pounds, and we're all at different stages, but you get to have my brain and my specific thoughts. And I'm going to be workshopping with you, and I'm going to be empowering you to learn these tools for yourself so that you become your own rock star. And it's so exciting for me to think about you coming and being a part of that. It's 2 weeks. And then we're going to be, so we'll have some outings. We're going to be stitching at night. We're just going to be basically like spending so much time together and having this time. And one of the things that I want to impress on you is that when you put yourself in the room, and so some of you are watching this, you haven't even started Love Yourself Thin, you are welcome to be there. Because what's going to happen is you're going to get the big, big picture. You're going to see where you're going to. That's why I want you to be there. Okay. And so, yeah, it's good. And the thing that's amazing about when you take this time out of your life, when you literally like disrupt your regular everyday, you can't unlearn it. You can't like not be changed for it. And then the beautiful thing is that you then stay in the Love Yourself Thin program and with lifetime access. So you will always get that support. And the only way that you don't is if you quit on yourself. I'm encouraging you to fail over and over and over, but you can't unlearn what you've learned by being here with me. And it is such a gift. And I want you to be there. That's why I have this incentive. I know it's hard to spend money on yourself. I totally get it. I have I have 3 kids at home. I have a daughter that just went to university and a son who's a missionary for our church. And I've always just said, no, everything is for my kids. But when I have spent the money on myself and gone to these retreats and had this time, it has been like, it's like I'm a different person. It's like I got new prescriptions for my glasses. I can see so much clearer now. So I really want to encourage you. So in the chat, if you have, or in the Q&A, if you have any questions, or if you want to raise your hand and I can bring you on for any questions at all, I'm here for you. What are your thoughts? All right. So if you don't have any other thoughts, you all deserve big rewards for sticking with me as I had to go move both cars to get our septic pump pumped. All right. Well, if you don't have any other questions, oh, and the, I see the question. So yeah, it's in Appleton, Wisconsin. So you can either drive there or fly there. You can, the closest that, yeah, it's not actually in Appleton. It's like a 15-minute drive. And then you can, I'm actually going to take the train from Chicago with one of my clients. So that's super fun. I'm not sure if I'm going to take the train going there and then flying home or how I'm going to do it, but I'm excited to have a different kind of adventure. And yeah, so if you want to meet with me and ask me any specific questions, I'm here to help you with that. And with the Love Yourself Thin, so you do have to be a member. Good question. You do have to be a member of Love Yourself Thin to go to the retreat. But I'm telling you, like that investment, when you think about your return on investment, often my kids and my husband, they will just say, Mom, like we love, like they always loved me before, but they say things like, it's a lot more fun being around you. It's a lot more, we feel so much more at ease. And just, it's just really fun to watch how not only the relationship you have with yourself, because it changes so much, you don't need to get a new kitchen anymore. That's how I used to live. I had to get a new kitchen. When I get the new kitchen, then I can feel happier. When I have this, then I can feel happier. When I have another baby, I can feel happier. When I have an award in a quilt show, I'll be happier. Then I'll feel like I've arrived. We don't do that anymore. We actually just live our lives and we enjoy our lives, and we don't have to We don't have to live with so much fear and pressure. It is definitely, when I think about what happens in your lives for this investment, it literally makes me giddy. Like it really does. And it's so much fun to watch my clients change and evolve. So come to the retreat, come to Love Yourself Thin. You will not regret it one bit. And if you have any questions at all, whether you're on live or watching the replay, please message me, dara@darathomason.com. I have time on my schedule to meet with you and to help you with this transformation. All right. Take care, everyone.